Cinematic Fantasy Stories Studios presents The Executioner Who Fell in Love with His Own Victim. Fenric had executed 143 people in 11 years, and he had never once hesitated. The axe was already rising when he saw the scar on her wrist. "Fenric," the magistrate said, voice sharp with impatience. "The sentence." Fenric did not move. "I said, carry out the sentence," the magistrate repeated. "Give me a moment," Fenric said, and his own voice sounded strange to him, unfamiliar, like it belonged to a man he had stopped being years ago. "11 years earlier, Fenric had been nothing. A starving boy of 15 caught stealing bread from a merchant's cart, sentenced to hang in a village square that did not know his name and would not remember his death by the following winter. He remembered the rope. He remembered the crowd, indifferent and bored, waiting for the small spectacle to end so market day could resume. He remembered thinking, with the strange clarity that comes right before dying, that no one in the world would grieve him. Then someone cut him down. "Run," a voice said, a woman's voice, hooded, face hidden entirely in shadow, blade still in her hand from severing the rope above his head. "Run now, and don't look back, and never tell anyone what you saw here." "Who are you?" Fenric had gasped, rope burns raw around his throat. "No one," she said. "Run." He ran. He never learned her name. He never saw her face. But he carried the memory of that voice for 11 years. Through every execution he later performed as a man grown hard and efficient in the only trade that would take a boy with a hangman's rope scar, still faintly visible on his neck. The trade of death itself, ironically, the one place no one asked questions about his past. "You have a gift," the old executioner who trained him said once. No hesitation, no mercy, no memory that lingers past the fall of the blade. Fenric had believed that about himself. For 11 years. He had been wrong. He built his entire life around that belief. In the years that followed, a small stone room above the gallows yard, no wife, no friends beyond the guards who shared his grim trade, no questions asked and none offered in return. He told himself the numbness was mercy, in its own way. A man who felt nothing could not be broken by what he did for a living. A man who felt nothing could sleep through the night after ending another life by morning. He had not slept well in 11 years. He had simply stopped noticing the difference. "The accused," the magistrate announced to the gathered crowd, "stands charged with witchcraft, healing the sick through forbidden means, and inciting rebellion against the crown's authority. The sentence is death, to be carried out immediately." "State your name for the record," a clerk said to the kneeling, hooded prisoner. "Thessaly," she said, voice steady despite the rope already binding her wrists. "Just Thessaly." "Fenric." Standing at his position beside the block, axe resting against his shoulder, as it had 143 times before, felt something cold settle in his stomach at the sound of that voice, familiar in a way he could not immediately place, like a half-remembered song. "Proceed," the magistrate ordered. Thessaly was led to the block. The hood was removed, as tradition demanded, so the condemned might face their death with open eyes. And Fenric, looking down at the face beneath the hood for the first time, felt 11 years of careful numbness shatter in a single, silent instant. He did not recognize her face. He had never seen her face. But her wrist, exposed as the guards adjusted her binding, bore a thin white scar, the exact shape, he realized with sick certainty, of a blade slipping and catching flesh while cutting a desperate boy free of a hangman's rope. "Fenric," the magistrate said, voice sharp with impatience. "The sentence." Fenric did not move. "I said, carry out the sentence," the magistrate snapped. "Give me a moment," Fenric said. "Is there a problem, executioner?" the magistrate demanded, stepping closer, voice dropping to something quieter and far more dangerous. "You have never once required a moment in 11 years of loyal service." "Forgive me, my lord," Fenric said, forcing his voice back into the flat, practiced calm he had built his entire adult identity upon. "The blade requires resetting. It will only take a moment." It was a lie. The blade needed nothing. But Fenric needed time. Time to think. Time to understand what he was looking at. Time to decide whether 11 years of silence about a debt he could never repay was about to end with him, becoming the very hand that killed the woman who once saved his life. He knelt beside the block, ostensibly checking the axe's edge, and spoke low enough that only Thessaly could hear him. "The scar on your wrist," he asked. "How did you get it?" Thessaly's eyes, which had been fixed forward with the particular stillness of someone who had already made peace with dying, flickered toward him for the first time. "Why does that matter to a man about to kill me?" she asked. "Answer the question," Fenric said. "A blade slipped," Thessaly said quietly. 11 years ago, cutting a rope I had no business cutting, to save a boy I never should have risked myself for." Fenric's hands, steady through 143 executions, began to shake. "You don't remember me," he said. "You saved my life, and you don't even remember my face." Something shifted in Thessaly's expression, recognition dawning slow and disbelieving. "The boy from the village square," she whispered. "The bread thief." "I am not a bread thief anymore," Fenric said, voice raw. "I became this instead. I became the very thing that almost killed me that day. And now I am standing here with an axe over the only person who ever showed me mercy in my entire life." "Executioner," the magistrate called, voice edged with suspicion now. "What is taking so long?" "The blade is ready, my lord," Fenric said, rising, forcing his face back into stillness even as everything inside him screamed against it. He positioned himself at the block. He raised the axe, exactly as he had done 143 times before, muscle memory carrying his arms through motions his mind was actively rebelling against. "I am sorry," he murmured, so quietly only Thessaly could hear. "I am so sorry that this is how I repay you." "Then don't," Thessaly said, just as quietly, eyes finding his with a fierce, desperate clarity. "You have a choice, Fenric. You have always had a choice. You simply never had a reason to use it before." The axe hung motionless in the air above her. The crowd had gone utterly silent, sensing something had shifted, some invisible wrongness in the ritual they had gathered to witness. The magistrate's guards shifted uneasily, hands moving toward their weapons. "Executioner," the magistrate said, voice now openly alarmed. "I am giving you one final order. Complete the sentence, or you will join her on this block within the hour." Fenric looked down at Thessaly, at the scar on her wrist, at the eyes that had once looked at a dying boy, and decided, for no reason except mercy itself, that he was worth saving. He turned the axe in his hands away from her throat and drove it instead into the wooden restraints binding her wrists. The crowd erupted into chaos. "Guards! Seize them both!" The magistrate screamed, finally understanding what was happening, a full heartbeat too late to prevent it. "The executioner has betrayed the crown." Fenric hauled Thessaly up from the block, both of them running now, the crowd scattering in every direction as armed guards closed in from three sides of the square, swords drawn, the magistrate's furious voice rising above the panic. "There is no escape from this square, executioner. You have doomed yourselves both." Fenric, gripping Thessaly's freed hand in his, felt something he had not allowed himself to feel in 11 years of careful, deliberate numbness. Not fear, though fear was certainly present, but something stronger underneath it. Purpose. "There's a drainage tunnel beneath the eastern wall," Thessaly gasped, already pulling him toward it. "I used it once before, when I first came to warn this village about the plague spreading from the capital. It should still be." An arrow struck the stone beside Fenric's head, close enough that he felt the wind of it. "Should be isn't good enough," Fenric said, pulling her faster. "Run." They cut through a narrow alley between the tanner's shop and the grain merchant's stall, boots slipping on wet cobblestone, the magistrate's guards shouting orders behind them. Thessaly led with the certainty of someone who had memorized this village's every hidden path, long before Fenric had ever known her name. "How many times have you done this?" Fenric gasped. "Run from a crowd that wants you dead." "Enough times to know we're not clear yet," Thessaly said. "Left. Here." They rounded a corner directly into two guards who had circled ahead, blades already drawn. "Stand down," one guard shouted. "There's nowhere left to run." Fenric, unarmed, did the only thing 11 years of executioner's training had ever actually prepared him for. He moved without thinking, driving his shoulder into the man's chest, hard enough to send him sprawling into a stack of empty crates. "Go," Fenric shouted to Thessaly. "Not without you," Thessaly said, already reaching for a length of loose chain, swinging it with practiced precision into the back of the second guard's knees, dropping him before he could bring his blade to bear. "You've done this before too," Fenric said, breathless. "I've been the reason a great many people were still breathing long before you," Thessaly said. The drainage tunnel's entrance came into view at last, a narrow, rust-stained grate set low into the eastern wall. "After you," Fenric said. "Together," Thessaly corrected, fierce and unshakable. Behind them, the magistrate's voice rose one final time, echoing across the square they'd left in chaos. "Find them. I want that traitor executioner's head on my wall by nightfall, and the witch burned in the square before the week is out." Fenric pulled the grate open, metal shrieking against stone. and for one suspended heartbeat, he looked back at the village that had been his entire world for 11 years and felt absolutely nothing but relief at leaving it all behind. "Ready?" Thessaly asked. "For the first time in 11 years. Fenric said, "Yes." They dropped into the darkness together, the great clanging shut behind them, the sound of pursuit fading into stone and shadow, leaving behind a village square in chaos, and a debt 11 years in the making that was only just beginning to be repaid. End of part 1. The executioner who fell in love with his own victim continues in part 2.
You saved me.